Hello everyone, it's Niven, and welcome to episode 6 of Behind the Scenes of Development, a weekly series where I talk about my games, I review my games, I show you the secrets, I tell you about the motivations, the struggles behind each project, and so forth. In today's episode, we will be talking about a double feature, Unhinged and Mason, the games which I've made together. Let's start with Unhinged. Unhinged was a found footage game, a short game which I decided to make just because I have created this overlay. This custom overlay, the recording, the June 6, 2006, I made this up and I wanted to create a game which featured this found footage style to it. The story was inspired by one of my friends who talks a lot about werewolves and supernatural beings, and they said I should look at the forgotten places in United States. So I found this place called Montana, Bannock, and I learned that there was an old mine there where people disappeared. I made up a story about a werewolf and about a real place, which is Grasshopper Creek. And that was it for this game. I really wanted this game to stand out from my previous works, especially my previous works such as Crocs. Basically, Unhinged was an improved version of Crocs, which I will show you right here. So this is Crocs. Crocs has, as you see, a very similar tone and look to it. Crocs is also about a journalist woman who travels to this place which is haunted, and then she encounters some supernatural occult stuff. Unhinged was very different because it featured some of the monsters, of course, ones in the grave, and the ending which featured a werewolf. Also, one great thing about this game is that Markiplier, yes, Markiplier played my game. I don't want to show the video just in case of a copyright thing, but I'll just show you a snippet of him playing my game. As you can see, he does play my game in his 3 scary games collection. I was very happy and I'm very proud of this game. Overall, I was very pleased with this game, considering the fact that this was made in very short amount of time, and I was also developing Mason at the same time. I think this game turned out to be good. Not great, of course, but it turned out to be good. Now let's go behind the scenes. And as you can see, the folder files for Unhinged are huge. This is not the biggest game I've ever made. I said it in the episode 2 that Sunken was the biggest game that I've ever made. But you can see there are a lot of folders. You can see what does it take to make a good game. Not a great game, but a good game. I had multiple assets. I had the body parts, the bloody hand, the gate key, car, pickup. I had actually 2 cars which I used in the game, but I decided to use that one car and then I edited that car to look like, like it's in the game, which I will showcase later. I had the house key, I had the paper bag, the pallet of pipes, I had the wooden barrel, and all this I had to manage and put in the Copper Cube 6 engine and make it all work. The werewolf monster asset was one of those assets which I did not download. I was gifted by a friend who made this asset and I was not able to find the proper credits for him, but the rest of the assets have their own CC credits. They're all free and they all have their own, copyright CC, which allows me to use them both as making a free game and making the game as commercial. We have music here. We have multiple files. As you can see, I have multiple ambience. I do label the ambiences version 1, version 2, as you didn't know, the footsteps version 1, version 2, version 3, because I want to create a diversity of the assets that I can use in my game, the music that I can use in my game, because I'm not that type of developer who finds one music and I'm just like, I will use this in my game. No, I want to research other music. I want to create my own music. And with Unhinged, I made a couple of soundscapes which they do kind of repeat, but yeah, this was it. Basically, that's the folder which I managed to create. And here it is, Copper Cube 6 file for Unhinged. As you can see, we have multiple scenes here. You can definitely see this is one of the shortest games I've made because it only has 4 scenes. It has a menu, it has prologue, which is the warning about the game. It has the Act 1, which includes everything that's inside the game, and it has Act 2, which is the coordinates of the real place, which I thought would be a neat idea to put in the game, you know, add some creepy, surreal feeling to it. Now let's talk about the menu. In the menu, we have the play button, the controls button, and the exit button. We have the options button, of course, which is hidden, and some people didn't know what button to press, and I will talk about this when I go to the Act 1 of this game. And this is Act 1. Let me put directional light. As you can see, this is Act 1. This is the map. It's not very huge, as you can see. There is nothing here, absolutely. But we have some vegetation, we have some trees, we have the main house where the player goes inside. We also have the shed where the keys are, and this, you know, floating liver and stuff like that. It's very, very creepy. And I wanted this game to be and to feel creepy. Also, one little secret, you know, if you play this game, you realize that the car disappears, which is here, and then it appears here coming from the sky. Well, the car is actually in the sky all this time. See? Here is the car. So we have 2 cars. The one car, which is in the air, literally in the air, waiting for the signal, which is right here, waiting for the signal to just drop and scare our player. We also have Werewolf, who's right here. I'm gonna show you the Werewolf too. Let me just double check. Wolf Cry. Yeah, this is the placeholder for the sounds file. Let's see. Arm, leg, directional light. Yeah, this is here's the wolf right here. We can see how it looks like. Hold on, I will do none. So this is our wolf. As you can see, I can also remove the overlay. Hold on. Remove the overlay, and you can definitely see here is the wolf. Here is the werewolf, guys. Here it is. It's scaring us. It is scaring us when it's moving. So it's moving towards the player in the final scene, and when it interacts with the player, the scene ends, and then it goes to Act 2, which is the coordinates. Now, I want to talk about some specific problems with Act 1 which people criticized the game. Number 1 was the Skylines effect. The Skylines effect was the one which was created by a friend of mine, and it used the spacing, the horizontal and vertical spacing, and it appeared the game looked like trash. Most people said that, but I personally wanted to make the game which looked like you actually had a camera. It wasn't just an empty screen, but it actually had a filter to it. And I do understand, you know, Niven, you have this overlay, so doesn't this qualify as a filter? No, it doesn't. I wanted this game to feel like that 2006-esque camera. That's why I made the skylines effect, and I did my research on the cameras, and trust me, if you went back and watched the videos on those cameras, not on the screen but on those cameras, the effect would be definitely the same. There was also complaint about this particular scene where the hands come off from the grave, and people were very annoyed by that. I would say, well, fine to me. It's okay if you don't like a certain aspect of the game. And many people, a lot of people, including Markiplier, wanted to open this door, which was part of the basement, which I never intended to be part of the game, but I just added this. This house is an asset which I edited in Blender. And one other complaint I forgot is the staircase. They said that the staircase should be on this side. Yes, the staircase, this should be on the other side, but I specifically made this like that so the player would be confused, frustrated. And my intention was not to be like, oh, this is okay, this is regular. No. And some players, some YouTubers don't understand that those games, some developers of course, make games with no knowledge, no experience, and they just make a game and they're like, okay, I just made the game. But in my case, I always research my games before making them. I always research the topic before I make the game, and I always try to make it more relatable to people and relatable to real life situations, like this car which has lights on, which you would basically do if you were out at night somewhere, outside. You would definitely keep those lights on. Let's move on to Mason, a guilty pleasure game for some and a crappy project for others. This game had a very mixed reviews. Some people enjoyed the game, but majority didn't like the length of the game, of course, and the essence of the game. Some people actually wrote that this game was not even a game because it just had interaction with the box and nothing else. It was very short and it was very boring. Well, to those people, I would say thank you very much. I understand that this was not a full game, but you have to understand other thing that I made this game in one day, actually less than one day, and I was developing Unhinged at the same time. And the reason why I wanted to make this game is I just wanted to showcase the character of Mason. And I have in the description a special thanks to Tiffany Gilly, who actually inspired the game with the name. I really want in the future to make a game about an IP which I'm not allowed to use, of course, but there are a lot of itch.io developers who make games about IPs which they're not allowed to make. So I decided why not to make a game about the specific killer. I'm not going to say the name, but just if you take off the M and put J, you will have the name of the character. So that's how I came up with the name Mason. And Mason is a fun game, actually. It's a dark comedy. It's not supposed to be the drama police detective work. No, it's just supposed to be very fun. This is the folder file for Mason. As you can see, I have the baseball, the bat. We have two different bats. The one was with the blood and the other one was just used during the last scene. We have the cabinet, the coffee cup, the files, interrogation room, which was actually an asset I found on Sketchfab, and the creator was kind enough to make it free, and I downloaded the asset. I recreated it using Blender in Cube 6, and I made this work. Also, we have the victim, which is Mason, but let's be honest, he's not a victim. Mason did it, guys. Mason did it. And we have woman, we have asphalt, the gravel, tree trunk, the fire, which I have no idea why fire is in here. I'm not sure. Maybe I was doing something else with this texture, transparent texture. I don't know. Anyways, that's it for the Mason. And now let's move on to the file. And this is Mason, Cube 6 game file. you can see I have the camera perfectly aligned with Mason sitting on his chair, floating in the air. And yeah, that's basically it for Mason. I did have the controls and the enter sign, but I removed it just because the game was already published and I wasn't going to update the game. So here's the Mason, and you guys want to see his real face, huh? You guys want me to reveal his face? No, this not going to happen. It's not going to happen because I said it in the comments that in the future I will definitely make a sequel to Mason, or maybe make Mason as a huge big game, not this 5-6 minute demonstration. So I'm not going to reveal his face yet. I am not. Now let's move on to Act 1, which is right here. And as you can see, we have this policeman, Detective Finch, and wait, where's Mason? Oh no, yes, exactly, there is just camera, no Mason. I did have an idea to put the actual character, and I wanted the camera to be more active and less static, but I realized that it was a lot of work and maybe some people wouldn't be very comfortable with it. Basically, I had this mechanic of having this camera, and you could actually only move camera around you and not move the character, right? Only the camera. So we have some stuff in here. We have this baseball bat, the cuffs, detective, and this is the room. There is nothing outside the room, especially that door. There is nothing here. We have this watch, we have this light sources, and that's it. Now we go to Act 2, and we see here Ashley is just waiting for her bus, which won't be coming because there is no road here. There is nothing here. This road is all free. And here, oh, here's the moon. Here we have our bicycle. Here we have our character, the camera, with just a bat. And yeah, that's it. That's what Mason looks like. You just go, you know, have your revenge on your girlfriend, I guess, and that's it. And this is the end for episode 6. I hope you enjoyed this silly trip to Unhinged and Mason's behind the scenes. So far, I've reviewed all of the games which I have files to. I reviewed Mason, Unhinged, Shunned, Primary Color Man, Ascendance, Sunken, and I have the rest of the games to review. Maybe episode 7 will feature some Blender game engine games like Vachi and Opacity and Envy, or maybe it will feature some other games like Crux, Moat, Blight of Ignorance, and Guide. Who knows? Stick around if you want to find out, and thanks everyone for watching. I hope people who are doing game development, they can relate to the issues that I'm having with most of the projects. I hope beginner developers can learn something from these videos. And overall, if you guys are just creating games or playing games, I hope you can see what does it take to actually create a game and how it all works. Once again, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.